Hello and welcome to Matrix Live. Today my guest is Lozenge or Krishan. He's one of the maintainers of Cinny, one of the clients I really love in the Matrix ecosystem. He is here to talk about the latest major release of Cinny. Cinny was released in the third major release recently. So Krishan, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us what are the guiding principles behind Cinny? Because if I had to describe it, I would say it's trying to be pure, simple, simplistic even. But what would you say are the guiding principles?
First of all, hello everyone from the Matrix Live, and thank you for listening this live. So, the guiding principle, I would like to go back in our history when we first thought of making the cine. So, I actually came from the pre-node side, the pre-node bridge. That's how I got to know about the Matrix, and the the the, the Matrix client element back then was like not much of polished. It felt like only tech savvy users are using the element that time, but it's improved a lot now. So that was one of the main motive to go after building Cine. Then I discussed that with Ajay. We used to work on a tool on Wikipedia together. So that's how uh, we thought of building the Cine. So our main goal was to have a simple metrics client that is more of like looks like a mainstream client, just like Discord, Slack, or something like that, and that can attract non-tech savvy users as well to the metrics.
All right. So I really like how you managed to achieve a very simple experience and a simple UX as well, because it's true that Matrix can be a bit tech intensive. It can be for tech users. Sometimes it can feel like it, although it's getting progressively better.
Yeah.
Are you or Ajay designers, or is it something that you don't have a formal education in?
Ajay is professionally a developer and designer, I think. That's he told me. But I'm not a professional developer or designer. I'm learning things, but I help with design things into the scene. Uh, Other than that, I help with the community contribution or things like that, like managing the community and things like that. So main developer I would say is Ajay, and uh, I just help with the designs. So you can count me in that for that for the designs.
Well, it's truly impressive because a designer is an actual job and you really can't improvise yourself a designer, yet it looks like you managed to do it. So congratulations for creating such a beautiful client
Yeah,
without a professional designer involved. It's really impressive.
yeah. We
Um,
we, we have more upcoming design that's gonna be really beautiful. From like half of it has been implemented and half will come probably up until next year. We don't know the timeline in open source.
all right. And this brings me to the next question. So did you create Cine from scratch? Is it a client that was started from nothing, or does it rely on SDKs to make it work?
Uh, so Cine is more of, I would say, equivalent to the React SD. So so we are using the JS SDK under the hood to talk to the server, but the React kind of a side of the Cine are from the scratch. So you can call it as an equivalent of React SDK. We built our React SDK from the scratch. You can say that.
All right, so anything that goes in the JS SDK can ultimately benefit Cine. So
Yeah,
it's a good thing that there is this JS SDK existing that can benefit several clients.
yeah. That actually helped us a lot because if we we started with our SDK, then we have to implement all of the features ourselves. That would have taken almost double the time that we took now. So, and all the new features that element peoples are implementing in the JSDK, we can like straightforward use. For example, if you are thinking to implement threads because a lot of people are requesting threads, then we can start just like because SDK supports it. So thank you for Element for the contribution to that.
Yes, we had a Matrix Live not so long ago with Andy from the web team who talked to us about all the challenges in implementing threads. And ultimately, the solutions the team is coming up with is going to land in the JS SDK. So this is going to benefit Cinny as well. And I'm just going to remove my Element hat on to put my Matrix hat on. And I just want to say this is a foundation project. So Element doesn't have to be the sole contributor. If there are other projects who want to contribute to the SDK as well, they are much more than welcome to contribute to. We have been mentioning the designs of Cinny, and you have said there are upcoming design changes. Let's focus on this version we are talking about. So it's the third major release of Cinny. What are the breaking changes that justify a major bump in the version?
Yeah, so in terms of breaking change, there is one actually breaking things would be the themes, the people who built custom theme on top of Chini, because we have implemented the design system that we call fold into the Cine, and because of that, all the previous CSS classes are changed so that people who have custom themes like this cappuccino theme, my cappuccino theme, I found those go break. So that only that is the reason for the breaking change or making the break-in version. Other than that, mostly it is implementing folds into the existing Cine and converting the code to the TypeScript. And we also added rich input with adding the folds and converting the TypeScript. And because of that, the timeline also got refactored. So we also have more fast timeline now. It is we tested it actually, and it is almost 5x faster than it used to before. So those are the changes I would say are the major changes in the V3. In terms of breaking changes, there is just custom themes, and that could break. Other than that, it's all okay.
All right, so major changes under the hood, faster timeline, better user experience, and themes can break. So all that justifies a major bump. And yeah, really nothing to say about that. The one thing I'm wondering actually is we've been talking about Cine and how great it is, but can we have a look at how it looks like right now?
Yeah, sure. So let me share my screen with you.
Sure.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm just gonna log in to a test account I created for Matrix Live. Okay, so here we are. Uh, I just created this hello world. So in a normal instance, when you create your account, there is nothing. So you can just go to the home and join any public rooms from there or create your own. So I created these few spaces and join some of the community spaces. And talking about this release V3, we have changed, added this custom input editor where you can see all of the formatting options are available now to the nons, like users who don't use much of, don't know about the markdown. So this is our step towards making it more non-tech savvy chat application for Matrix, because most of the people like some of my friends to whom shown the Cine, they said, how do you bold things? How do you make italics, things like that? So they don't know much about Markdown. The normal people, I would say. So for those, this rich input editor was implemented. So you can just use any of the buttons to create any of the formatting. For example, just out. So I would say, things like that. Not only you can click these, you can also use the key bindings. For example, Control V, Control I. So it's like when you learn about the key bindings, it's really faster for you to use these formatting options. For example, I want to use a heading one. Uh, I just wanted under the formatting. So and earlier we used to have Markdown only. Now you can use Markdown with this button as well. So if you are a Markdown user, you just need to click this button, and uh, if you will type a simple Markdown, just like again, oh sorry, it will convert it to Markdown. Maybe I should not add spaces. So a lot of people are requesting this feature to be re-added because we initially removed the Markdown when we re-implemented the custom input editor. So a lot of people who already use Cinny are like heavily use Markdown. So for those, we re-implemented the Markdown. We created the feature actually by ourselves. Earlier we used to use the extension Micromark, but right now it's just our own feature. So a lot of things still don't work. So sorry about that, guys. But we are progressively adding things such as escaping the markdown or things like that used to be like uh, the math equations latex. Yeah, the latex thing that also is going to be added in the future. So apart from the input, uh, we also like refresh the sidebar. Let me go to something bigger room. So you can just see it's loading here. So need to wait to load. Okay. So you can filter all of the room members by either who came earliest. Like I joined this room latest, so I am at the top. You can filter those things. You can also filter the room list by who got kicked, who got banned, so and who just left. So these depends on if what server reports us. So uh, they are they are not actually correct, but most of the time they work. And in case of timeline, yeah, so you can just see that it's just getting from server, but when we just catch the things locally, then it is a lot faster. You don't have to wait for it to load. So in that
Right.
terms, it is 5x faster than before. We
Yes,
cannot guarantee the server
th-
response time.
there seems to be a bias here because the account you have created for the demo is very young, so nearly nothing is cached in Cinny.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
things are taking a bit more time to load, but usually the experience is much snappier than that.
yep. Uh, a lot. There are a few simple things, small things like we added some messaging layout options, for example, compact or bubble, some spacing options, and we also added in 3.20 URL preview. And so these are the most things that came with the version 3. And later.
I'm particularly impressed by the settings that are so simple on Cine, especially coming from Element, which the historical settings in Element look very like you are trying to navigate a spaceship. But here in Cine, it's very, very simple, and I really like the emphasis you
Yep.
have put on the end user who does not need to be a Matrix expert to configure something that works for them.
Yeah, the reason we chose this these I would say the vertical tabs because we wanted to have the layout responsive on the mobile as well. A lot of people use Cinny as a progressive web application, and if we had the horizontal tabs here, and then that would have double click on to open a setting. For example, emoji, they have to click double uh, to open this. So that's why we choose the vertical layout. That is easy for the mobile user as well, and it works for desktop as well. It's not that of like hard, but I think it's gonna have problem in the future when we have a lot of features here. So maybe we need to figure that out in the future.
All right. There is another thing I want to call out on Cine, which I really, really love. It's the way you are handling spaces and more particularly subspaces. So you have that feature, I think it's called space flattening, which
Yeah,
basically yeah, go ahead.
it's called categorized subspace.
Right.
Categorized. That.
Categorize space, and
Yeah.
what it looks like, it's exactly what you are showing right now. So you have the matrix community space open,
Yeah.
and
So
yeah,
earlier,
go ahead.
it was like this. When you join a space, spaces are listed in the room list, like subspaces are listed in the room list, and the top level rooms are under them. But you can go bit inside them and just like a five folder structure that Matrix is supposed to be. But if you are from a Discord side of a place, then you want these to be as a category. So if you just click a category subspace, then they will be listed as a category. Any of the subspace will be categorized. If they are subspace of a subspace, then they will come. They will come just like a top category. They will be like uh, I would say categorized on the basis of the depth they have. So if it's a top level space, it comes at the top. If it's a space inside the space, that will come inside below that. So yeah, a lot of people like this feature, and we are also taking to make it default so that people don't have to find the categorize option.
Okay, really cool. I think that's it for the tour of Cine, or were there other
Yeah,
features you wanted to show?
yeah, that's all. Almost that. Yeah, that's all for the review. I will just stop sharing this now. Okay.
Sure. So I wanted to ask, so Cine is really great as a client. If I wanted to add my contribution to Cine, can I do it? Is Cine open source? Are you open to external contributions?
Yeah, Cinny is definitely open source. It is under AGPL license, but we also require a contributor license agreement. That we chose because when we switched from MIT to AGPL, uh, we were thinking in case if we want to commercialize the project, how we could do that. So right now there are no such plans to commercialize it, but we kept a backup plan for that. So that's why the CLA came into the action. So we actually followed the Signal project approach. So our CLA is not a much of a complex one. We just are saying that we can relicense the project uh, if we want to do that. And uh, but the main code base will always be under AGPL license. So it's not like we are going to go and make it non-open source and go with all of the contribution. It's not like that. It's kind of a safety net for the project, so that in future, if there are things get financially unstable, then we can handle that. So it's just for that.
All right. Interestingly, the choice of using a CLA for Cine predates what Element did
Yeah,
with the fork of Synapse. It caught my attention a while ago, and I thought it was an interesting choice. So here it's really about future proofing in case you want to monetize Cine, but The plan is, of course, to keep Cinny open source under AGPL as much as possible. What you have shown is you have been mentioning JavaScript, you have been mentioning React. That means web to me. So Cinny is primarily a web client. Where should I go if I wanted to use it?
Yeah, so we initially launched it as a web client. You can go our hosted instance at app.cinny.in, or you can also host it yourself. It's just a simple uh, bunch of files that you need to put up in your server, and then it's just simple as that. And you can also there are multiple instances available, just like one EVM ESG hosting, one VR hosting, and a lot of people who are hosting the same instance, they are using that for their community. So you can just pick up whichever is the best for you and just use that. If you want to go with ours one, then that is at appshooting.in. And if you want to use development build with the new features, so that is at dev.sync13. So those are the two that we are hosting.
All right, I'm going to leave a link in the description of the video so people can try it out. I tend to be very easily distracted, and when I use my browser, usually I want to keep 1 to 3 tabs open, otherwise my brain overflows. And typically, having an instant messaging in my browser can be something that really distracts me from the work I'm trying to do. Do you have a desktop app for Cine?
Yeah, we do have a desktop app. It's built from Tori. It is Electron alternative. So you can just find the desktop app in our Cine app organization. It's under the Cine app slash Cine minus desktop. So we are building the MSI for Apple, for Linux. There is also Flatpak for Linux. So all of these are already available in our repository. I would say if you get distracted by the tab, I would say also try the Cinny PWA. Just you go to the web hosting site and just install that as a PWA. That is also a good option if you want to have a desktop kind of experience on PC.
All right. Earlier in the episode, you have been mentioning designs that were not implemented. So can you share a little bit more about what your plans are for the future? What are the next milestones you want to hit on your roadmap?
Yeah, so for the future, we almost did a timeline refactor. That means we implemented the folds into the timeline and the people sidebar, but the room list is still old, and the all of the space uh, UX around space is like a bit of confusing for the new users, because there are multiple things like they cannot easily find the children's of a space that they need to join. It's hidden under multiple clicks. So we are thinking to make that simple and implement the folds into the room list as well as the spaces and settings. So these are our like near-term plan. And after that, maybe have a like full-fledged PWA with some kind of notification support, so that because the Tori app is not really working well for us for right now. So we are not much into like much not involved in progressing that. So we are thinking to have a good PWA from the web, and then because Tori is going to have a mobile support for Android and iOS. So maybe use the Tori for the mobile kind of things instead of of a desktop app.
All right. So quite a few big projects ahead. I'm excited to see that happen. I would really like to see that happen. Actually, um, is there anything we forgot to mention in the episode?
Well, if you want to just explore more about something, just head into the Cinny.in website, or you can also join our room, which is Cinny uh, called metrics.org. You know how to find the Cinny room. So I think that's all from me.
All right. And on my end, I would just want to say that you have been mentioning making things simpler in the UIs, especially around spaces. If there are fundamental changes that need to be brought to the specification, please, by all means, open a MSC. And this is true for the audience as well. If you have strong opinions on how spaces should behave or other things that need to change on the Matrix side, feel free to open MSCs. I'm going to leave it into the GitHub repository where the MSCs happen and to the documentation on what the MSC process is to actually bring changes to Matrix, the protocol itself, to go beyond just the clients. Krishan, thank you very much.
On the MSc notes, we also I forgot to mention that we also have this feature that we are thinking to implement as a like roles that are in Discord that people can create roles and then assign those to the different room members. That is not possible right now in the metric. So we have an MSc that we have opened to create the roles into the metrics. It is a simple way of implementing roles. So we are thinking to implement that in Cinny and possibly have that MSc merged. So that's for the MSc kind of things. We are thinking more of MSc contribution around spaces when we are gonna simplify those. So maybe let's see how it goes.
Fingers crossed,
Yep.
because spaces really need to be simplified.
Yep, and hope that the MSc process is also gets simplified so that a lot of people can contribute to the specification.
Yes, on that note, so it's a bit early days, so I don't want to spoil things too much, but the foundation is consulting with somebody to see how we can make contributions to Matrix at large simpler and less intimidating. So I can't say too much for now, but more soon, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe that's for next Metrics Live or something.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Well, just if you want to use the app, just head over to the website, and that's all from me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming, Krishan. It was very nice. I really, really love Cinny, and I like what you are doing here. I think it's a very nice, community-friendly client that is taking a similar but different approach from Element, and it's really refreshing to see that the ecosystem is vibrant with more than one vendor out there. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. Keep up the good work, and I'll see you next week, Matrix Live. Bye.
Thank you so much. A good night from me, guys.